Today, we're diving into the exciting world of English spelling rules. I know. Spelling might not be the most thrilling topic, but trust me, mastering these rules is like having a secret weapon in your language arsenal. It'll make your writing clearer, more professional, and more impactful. So, grab a pen and paper, and let's explore the ins and outs of English spelling together. It's time to become spelling superheroes and conquer the quirks and challenges of this fascinating language. Before we get started, let's quickly review the building blocks of English words: vowels and consonants. The vowels are like the melody of the word, the sounds that make it sing. They're the letters A, E, I, O, and U. The consonants, on the other hand, are like the rhythm of the word, the sounds that give it structure. They're all the other letters of the alphabet, the ones that help the vowels shine. We'll also be talking about suffixes, which are like the accessories of the word world. They're groups of letters added to the end of a word to change its meaning or grammatical function, like a linguistic fashion statement. Part 1. Doubling the final consonant, the twin rule. One of the most important spelling rules in English is knowing when to double the final consonant before adding a suffix. It's like the twin rule of the spelling world, deciding when a consonant needs a buddy. Here's the scoop. For one-syllable words with one vowel and ending in a single consonant, you double the final consonant before adding a suffix that starts with a vowel. It's like the final consonant is saying, "Hey, I need a twin to keep me company." For example, when you add ing to the word hit, you double the final T, so it becomes hitting. Similarly, when you add ed to the word knit, you double the final T, and it becomes knitted. But if the word has two vowels, ends in two consonants, or ends in a vowel, you don't double the final consonant. It's like the final consonant is saying, "Nah, I'm good. I've got enough support." For instance, when you add ing to the word keep, which has two vowels, you don't double the final P. It simply becomes keeping. There are a few exceptions, though. If the final consonant is a W, X, or Y, you don't double it. It's like they're the independent consonants marching to the beat of their own drum. For example, when you add ed to the word row, you don't double the final W. It just becomes rowed. Part 2. Dropping the final E, the disappearing act. Another important spelling rule is knowing when to drop the final E before adding a suffix. It's like the final E is playing a game of hide and seek, disappearing when certain suffixes come along. Here's what you need to know. If a word ends with a consonant followed by an E, drop the E before adding a suffix that starts with a vowel. It's like the suffix is saying, "I'm here now. You can go E." For example, when you add "ear" to the word believe, you drop the final E and it becomes believer. Similarly, when you add ing to the word love, you drop the final E and it becomes loving. However, there are a few exceptions to keep in mind. Words like die and singe keep the final E before adding ing to avoid confusion with the words die and sing. So die becomes dying and singe becomes singeing. It's like they're saying, "Hold up, I need that E to keep my identity." Now, if the suffix begins with a consonant, you usually keep the final E. It's like the E is saying, "I've got a consonant buddy, I can stay." For example, when you add meant to the word engage, it becomes engagement. The final E stays put because the suffix starts with a consonant. Part 3. Words ending in C and G. Sounds, the soft sound protectors. When a word ends with a C or G sound, there's a special rule to keep in mind. It's like the final E is a soft sound protector, making sure the C and G keep their gentle voices. Here's the deal. if you're adding a suffix that starts with ea or o to a word ending with a c or g sound, keep the final e to maintain the soft s or j sound. For example, when you add aus to the word courage, you keep the final e, and it becomes courageous. This way, the g keeps its soft j sound. But when adding the suffix us to a word ending with a ce sound, change the final e to an I. For instance, when you add os to the word grace, it becomes gracious. The final e changes to an I to make way for the aus suffix. Words ending in y, the y to I transformers. When a word ends with a consonant followed by a y, there's a transformation that happens when adding certain suffixes. It's like the y is saying, all right, suffix, I'll change into an I for you. Here's the rule. When adding a suffix to a word ending with a consonant plus y, change the y to an I before adding the suffix. For example, when you add ed to the word carry, the y changes to an I, and it becomes carried. Similarly, when you add ear to the word sunny, the y becomes an I, and it turns into sunnier. But there's one suffix that doesn't follow this rule, ing. When adding ing to a word ending with a consonant plus y, you keep the y as it is. So carry plus ing equals carrying, and hurry plus ing equals hurrying. It's like the y and ing are best friends, sticking together no matter what. IE and EI, the tricky twins. One of the trickiest spelling rules in English is knowing when to use IE and when to use EI in a word. It's like they're the tricky twins of the spelling world, always trying to confuse us. The general rule is I before E except after C, but there are quite a few exceptions. Some common words with IE are believe, achieve, and thief. They follow the I before E rule. On the other hand, words like receive and ceiling have EI because they come after the letter C. But then there are the exceptions like weird, air, and neighbor. They break the rule and have EI even though they don't come after a C. So, when in doubt, it's always best to double-check your spelling in a dictionary. It's like having a trusted advisor, ready to help you navigate the tricky twins' antics. Hyphens, the word glue. Hyphens are like the glue that holds words together to create compound words. They're the linguistic adhesive, the word connectors. Sometimes these compound words are written as one word, like bystander or hairdresser. Other times they're written as separate words, like post office or ice cream. And in some cases, they're written with a hyphen, like father-in-law or well-behaved. There's no hard and fast rule for when to use a hyphen, but here are some guidelines. Use a hyphen when it's needed to avoid confusion. For example, recover with a hyphen means to cover again, while recover without a hyphen means to get better. Use hyphens in compound adjectives that describe age, size, weight, or duration. For instance, you would write a 5-year-old child, a 6-foot-tall man, or a 3-hour movie. Just remember to pay attention to word endings, suffixes, and hyphens, and don't be afraid to consult a dictionary when in doubt. It's like having a trusted language advisor, always ready to lend a helping hand.
Double the end when 111. One beat, one vowel, one consonant done. Spelling rules, tricky but true. Learn them well, your writing will do. Drop the E before vowels start. Keep forcing and dive Spelling rules, tricky but true. Learn them well, your writing will do. Why do I when suffixes come? I before E except C for some. Hyphens join to clear the way. Check the book if led astray. Spelling rules, tricky but true. Learn them well, your writing will do. Spell with pride, use what you know. English quirks help writing grow. Spell with pride, use what you know. English quirks help writing grow.